Making your way in the waiting room takes a really long, long time. I've been here 25 years after I solved Laura Palmer's crime. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you want to go. My doggy's not my name.
Bum, 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 bum. Piece of pie is all the same.
You want to go where there's no bobs, where nobody makes you eat cream corn.
Everybody knows
Your name. Do. Okay.
All right.
I actually had to. Okay. So.
Oh, we forgot to say Bobby sings. Bobby sings.
Bobby sings?
Bobby.
Oh, no, James.
No. James
sings. I got that on the list.
Not Bobby. Bobby does
not sing.
Just you. He sings so high.
Yeah. So, we don't see Donna Hayward. Yeah. And I kind of assume it's just because...
she's dead.
I think it's more about, like, the actress kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we didn't get, we didn't get the same actress for Fire Walk with Me. Yeah. So let's just...
She's there. She's just like a background. Wait. Donna's one of the, like, oh my God, what if Donna is one of the people we're always seeing, like, sitting at the table?
Oh, maybe.
You know what I mean? Like, because it doesn't have to be the same actress.
Sure. But those women seem like they're in their, like, late 20s instead of their 40s and 50s. Yeah. However, there is a character named Gersten Hayward, who is Donna's sister that we see once as a little girl playing the piano.
Oh, yeah.
And then we see her again, the actress, so I assume it's Gersten. We saw her with Stephen in the stairwell.
Oh, Becky she's not having a good time.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
Yes, so
she's going to be in the play.
Gersten's not in a good place.
She's not doing great.
Yeah.
So maybe she's just getting involved with a bad guy for a little while.
I don't know. I hope. So I honestly don't know if that pops up again. But when I was conducting like little notes and stuff like that, I stumbled upon that. It's like Gersten Hayward. Gersten. Yeah. So James Hurley, did you like seeing him sing again?
Yeah. Sad Boy James. Sad Boy James doesn't change. I love it. Okay. I liked I know it's in the next episode. We see the kid with the green hand.
Oh, yes. And we'll get to the next episode. Yeah. The last thing to talk about, we already talked about Ed drinking a soup, but did you like that little Bear With Me sculpture, wood sculpture with the bell?
Yes, I love that. It needs to go next to the duck. Oh. I'm sad the duck is not. He's not around.
You missed the duck.
I missed, as much as he's terrifying, I liked the setup of the original R&R diner, where it's like there's overhang.
Yes, so you can put things on it.
And then there's like things there, and now there's just like walls.
Now there's just walls. All right, so 14. Now, are we correct in saying that we don't see Dale Cooper in this one?
I don't think we do. I did want to say I was totally wrong about. Well, I might be wrong. I think that our girl Nadine and our doc man, I can't remember his name, but I think they actually are going to have a little bit more flirty conversations.
Oh, you think Doc and Nadine might flirt some more?
Yeah.
They might become a couple. I don't know if
they'll become a couple, but I think they're going to flirt more.
Okay.
For sure.
Let's see. So we get more discussion from Gordon Cole talking to Sheriff Frank Truman,
right?
Sort of confirming the idea that there are two Coopers,
right?
And then we also learn that might not be too surprising for them, because we learn about the 1975 incident that started this Blue Rose Task Force with Lois Duffy. Do you remember the story about that?
So Lois Duffy, they break into the apartment because they hear screaming and they hear a gunshot. They go, bang! They get in, and then they're like, oh my God, Lois Duffy is on the floor and she's dying. And she's like, I wasn't like the Blue Rose, or something like that. Or I'm nothing like the Blue Rose.
I'm like the Blue Rose.
I'm like the Blue... Okay, it's nothing. It's I am like the Blue Rose. And they're like, oh no, she's dead. And they don't start CPR, which is my main complaint.
And the person holding the gun is Lois Duffy.
Yeah. And then she kills herself.
Well, she hangs herself. Here's the thing. Why did they even put her in jail?
I don't know.
If the body disappears.
Grows, is there a blood stain though?
Oh, that's a good question. Maybe there's blood?
Is there... Are they close?
See,
when somebody disappears, well, was their shoes? Was their shoes is the main question.
I don't know. Yeah, it seems like.
And why?
Habeas corpus, right? You need the body. You got to have the body for evidence.
No, you don't have to.
Well, you don't have to, but it's nice. And if you go into a courtroom and they're like, "What'd you see?" Well, we saw a body. Okay, where is it? It disappeared. You mean it got lost at the morgue? No. We saw it disappear.
It faded.
Yeah. So then maybe it's like, well, let's give her. And who was it? It was the person.
She could have been in federal custody.
Oh, because
the FBI was there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He says like, oh yeah, the FBI was there. So like, the federal court system is whack, just like the moon.
We're not going to.
We're not going to put that in here.
We're editing it. Yeah, so
they can detain people.
Anyway, so maybe she was just detained, and they were trying to figure out did she commit a crime? What happened?
Yeah,
it does make sense, I suppose, to detain a person.
Yeah, who there was
to figure out like what's going on.
Yeah, because they were able to be like, oh, she doesn't have any twins.
There could be a national security risk, like wow, who's doing teleportation or something like this.
Right.
Okay, so I'll give that a pass.
Yeah,
I think
fair enough.
That's I'll say that.
I wish they didn't give her.
Well, you know what? She talks about the. Yeah, right. Yeah, why'd she have? I think Jeffrey Epstein. Something happened like that.
Oh. Another doppelganger case.
Oh no. What do we got? So Tammy, Agent Preston, she impresses Albert by saying, "Oh, a blue rose is not natural, and that's why it's called." But she also says the word tulpa. Tulpa is a concept in mysticism and the paranormal of a being or object which is created through spiritual or mental powers.
Okay.
From Tibetan.
Oh, hey.
It's from Tibet.
Our friend Dale.
It all comes back to Tibet.
It all comes back to Tibet.
Oh, cool.
You can't do anything but come back to Tibet. That's cool. I like that. It ties into something interesting.
Yes.
It ties into something interesting about our friend Dale and my theory about what happens in the lodge or the waiting room. Of like when he's afraid of Wyndham Earl, but then he creates his doppelganger out of fear, kind of thing, where it's like these are the things. He doesn't fear Wyndham Earl, he fears himself.
Yeah, he faces,
and so
in the last trial, he is facing Wyndham Earl. Wyndham Earl says, "I'm going to kill you."
Yeah, and he's like, okay.
He's like, yes, I'll trade her life for mine. Yeah. And he says that fearlessly. But when he sees that doppelganger, he's runs away. Ready.
Well, because it's scary to think that instead of being, it almost seems less scary to be brave than it does to become something evil. Like it's easier to be afraid and to be killed than it is to become something evil when you're faced with it in that present moment.
Okay.
Right?
So it's hard to guess what people are thinking when they're in the lodge or the waiting room because, they're talking backwards and they're looking and staring, not expressing themselves like, wow, this is a surprising turn of events. Here's how I feel, right?
Yeah.
So we're judging off of like very strange body language.
Yeah.
But do you think that Dale Cooper runs away from his doppelganger because what?
He doesn't want to be the bad guy.
Okay.
And he's afraid of becoming that.
So he sees the doppelganger and he thinks that's going to be me.
Yeah.
That's going to be me.
Yeah. And he's afraid to see himself as evil.
Because he wants to help others, save others.
Yeah.
And this is something that's going to do the opposite.
Right. Whereas like standing up to Wyndham Earl and dying.
Now, what do you think one needs to do? What do you think, what could Dale Cooper have done differently to, I mean, we could just answer, not be afraid, but like, what would that have looked like?
Yeah. Well, I actually think.
What would a fearless representation of Dale Cooper look like?
I think Dale Cooper, his main issue is not seeing that he could become evil. And I think that's, an issue for all humans, is it's hard to think of yourself as being a force for evil.
So if he had sort of like accepted, like seen the doppelganger and accepted like, that could become me.
That could become me.
I'm not going to
make I'm not going to feed into that.
Yeah.
I'm going to see, that's wrong, but I could do that.
I'm going to strive to make these choices, but I could be this.
Yes.
And that's the way.
Instead of like, I can't make those choices. Yeah. It's like, I could make those choices. However, I don't want to because I feel that those choices won't benefit me or the loved ones around me.
So there's so much fear about those choices. Like, I can't believe that that's a possibility. Right. I have to run away from it.
Which is something Laura embraces, the whole thing, right? Laura's like, man, I'm terrible. I'm a terrible person. She's always saying that when she's alive, right? But in reality, there's these good qualities to Laura, even though there's scary things about Laura. And when she finally, I think when she puts on the ring and she's like, yep, all me. Yeah. It becomes like, okay, I could make these choices. Like, I could take off my mom's face and kill someone, or I could be this force for good. Yeah. And I understand that I can be both at the same time.
So putting on the ring is this act of being at peace.
Unifying.
Yes.
Because they're like, the ring, with this ring I thee wed. So it's like, it's unifying both of you.
Marriage of heaven and hell.
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
Took you on a ride there.
So we're going to skip ahead to Sarah then.
Yeah.
So bizarre things happen with Sarah.
Whoa, dude.
Right?
Like, off the charts.
Yes.
So, like, I know Andy goes places, but like Sarah's going places.
We talked about the beef jerky last time, right?
Yeah.
So we see a little glimpse of her talking to herself, saying, Sarah, stop doing this.
I don't know. It seems like Sarah has Laura with her a little bit.
So here I'm going to walk us through the events that happen with Sarah, and then you give us your interpretation.
Okay, and then you do.
All right, so maybe. So we see Sarah she decides that she's going to go out on the bar.
Right.
There's the guy with the shirt that says "Truck you." Truck you comes up, is a complete a-hole.
Yeah.
To her.
Yeah.
So on the one hand, we almost don't mind the terrible thing that happens to him because he's not a nice person.
He's not fun.
Yeah. He's not a fun guy.
Not good.
It's something to say about that in shows like Dexter or the Hannibal Lecter movies.
Yeah.
When they Hannibal Lecter kills people that are impolite or rude.
Yeah, doesn't deserve
and they don't deserve to die.
I don't think anyone deserves to die.
Sure. I mean, Dexter is killing serial killers, but it's probably better to capture them and let the law handle it. But Hannibal Lecter is even worse than Dexter.
Yeah.
Dexter. That Hannibal Lecter is worse than Dexter because he's just like, oh, you're rude to me.
How dare you?
You're a snob. I'm going to get you. Right?
I'm going to eat your head.
But there's something that I think it gives some viewers a vicarious experience. They're like, yeah, I hate rude people too. Right?
Yeah.
So when Sarah takes off her face and rips out the truck driver's throat, and he just drops down.
It just looks like a piece of skin.
Or what? Yeah. Well, it kills him pretty.
I don't know. She like bites him.
Oh yeah, that's right. She doesn't grab it.
She
bites him. It seems like she leans forward
and like
whatever
headbutts him or something.
Yeah, that whatever's inside.
Is able to like do something.
So it does that.
Yeah.
And says, "Do you want to f with me?" Right? They're like so. It's basically a murder takes place.
Yeah, and you know what? At the end of the day, what are you gonna do?
And so, so a murder takes place. At the same time, the mother, Sarah, seemed like she was in danger.
Yeah.
So how are you interpreting this scene? And how does that fit into your theory about Laura possibly being in some way with Sarah?
Right. I think there is a concentration of Laura that's been stuck with Sarah.
Okay.
Just like in like a spiritual way, like she doesn't want to leave her mom, and her mom definitely doesn't want her to leave.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this to me, Sarah? Mm-hmm. And we see the left hand come up, and we see the ring fingers extended and dark.
Yeah, it's like different than the other fingers.
Yeah. And there's like even like in the tendon part is darker too. And to me that, it feels like, oh, it's the left hand. We saw it's the left hand. Yeah. We see the ring.
So that means it was like Laura's hand that had the finger.
Yeah. The finger like that got stuck.
Gotcha.
So I do feel like that it is Laura.
Now we see I guess a doppelganger version of Laura.
Yeah.
And so
is that the doppelganger?
So you're
I don't think so.
So you don't think it's not influence for it seems.
I think Laura actually is both her doppelganger and herself.
And are we saying that's the same with Mr. C and Dale Cooper?
No.
Okay.
I think that Laura, in putting on the ring, merged.
Gotcha.
And accepted, like, I'm both of these things.
So back in the waiting room in the season finale, when we see Laura and she's like, "Hi," meanwhile, and then when we see Laura screaming with her eyes, it's like she's just switched her personalities, but that's her.
Because it's on top of one another.
Gotcha.
Because we're only seeing, like, the scary place.
Yeah.
But, like, Laura is experiencing both.
Yeah.
Because it's layered.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's an interesting, rich and complicated.
It's a lot.
So I'm thinking that my working theory right now, although it's very vague, and I don't know that we'll get any solid answers to this. That's why my fingers crossed that David Lynch is working on more Twin Peaks material, spin-off or something. Because I'd love to see more. Yeah. But I'm thinking that we see a young Sarah Palmer, and I was almost going to say it was like Sarah and Leland on their first date. Yeah. But I don't think
Leland grew up in Twin Peaks.
Yeah, I don't think that they grew up together as kids like that. But I'm going to guess that maybe that is Sarah Palmer. Mm-hmm. I might be wrong. People will probably watch this go like, no, it says Sarah Palmer grew up in Twin Peaks. She never went to New Mexico or whatever. But I'm thinking it was Sarah Palmer, and that some branch of the evil hierarchy that we talked about.
Yeah. Sent down got a light and the bug.
Yeah, like sent down the bug.
Mm-hmm. I'm kind of coming back to the theory. There's a couple theories I have about the bug and the girl. Is that if it is Sarah, I think the bug is supposed to corrupt the mother.
Yeah. And
it would make sense for them to send down the Laura ball in that sense, because it's like, if there's a bug that's about to corrupt the mother and there's Bob that's about to corrupt the father, the ultimate goal is like
Antichrist
child, right?
And instead we're gonna put
Laura in there, as like a buffer.
Yeah.
Is that like an angel buffer?
Yeah.
So like if the bug's like, and I go, let me eat your eggs and lay my own. That's the kind of feeling I got from the bug. Oh. That's just like, a feeling.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like the bug's gonna lay eggs.
Like corrupt her ovaries?
Yeah. Like the bug's gonna put in its own ovaries and then she's just kind of die on like, I don't know, her first period maybe.
Oh gosh.
And then just like come out. And then she'd be like, oh, that's weird. But then Laura's also in there as like, I can't be corrupted.
Gotcha.
They do have only one child.
Yeah.
They don't have any other kids. They just have one child. And so it's interesting. It's like, oh, here's one. Just one.
Yeah. So it's one of the fun puzzles, I think, of this season.
That's
is to try to figure out how does the black and white, the got a light thing, the explosion, the regurgitating shadow creature, Bob in the bubble.
The eggs. There's multiple eggs.
Yeah, and what are the other eggs doing? The Laura golden marble.
Yeah.
And the bug crawling into.
There's a lot.
Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of stuff, and it also might simply mean like that there are things that we aren't meant to understand.
Yeah, and there's things that we're supposed to interpret as our own.
Sure.
Yeah.
But but it is kind of I think that one of the things that keeps happening is that when people are involved in the lodge, that they come out of it, or even if they're nearby and they're like, wow, what happened? Do you remember? No, I don't remember.
No.
Or, or it's kind of vague and murky and stuff like that.
Right.
That's why. Let's get to Andy.
Yes, Andy.
Andy seems pretty well adjusted.
Yeah. They go to
being in the lodge.
Yeah.
So tell us what happens.
So they go to the Jackrabbit's palace and they're like, march, march, march. And then they find the no-eyed woman laying on the floor naked, I guess on the ground. Mm-hmm. And she's like squirming around, and Andy holds her little hand.
Still making sort of the
monkey
clicking kind of noises.
Yeah. And then he holds her hand and he like lets go of her hand, and then he's like, vortex time.
Yeah,
and
Andy's being very gentle.
Yeah.
Like he's the one. Everybody else is like, we're just gonna stand. We're kind of shocked. This is a lot to take in. And Andy's like, I'm gonna be by her side and holding her hand, helping her. Then he goes in and he's shown, and he looks up.
It's like, whoa!
And we learn that the person we've been calling the giant is the fireman. So why do you think he's called the fireman?
I can't tell if he puts out fires or if he starts fires or if he just uses fires. I kind of feel like he uses fires in the electronical sense.
Talking about
where he's like,
where
I'm
Hawk
putting
says
a good
fire
thing
could be
in here.
Electricity. Okay.
Like he's making pathways for people.
Gotcha.
To use.
Yeah.
Like he's like,
because he's not dressed like a fireman, like a firefighter.
He's like a concierge, basically.
It's like, I've got my bow tie.
I got my bow tie, and I'm not gonna help you when you're on the ground dying.
Yeah.
I still feel like he's just like this, like neutral being. Like he shows, he gives you information, but he doesn't care. Like, I mean, maybe he cares, but he just gives information. But there's the scene where it's like,
right. It looked like he cared there.
It does.
I feel like he is. I feel like he's at least neutral with good tendencies.
Yes.
Because I feel like there's all these rules I have to follow. All right, there's this rules I have to follow. I want to help you.
Yeah.
But I have to tell you. I have to tell you really obscure things, and there's some things that I can't tell.
We'll never know about the owls. I have no idea. Like, I assume it's like I'm supposed to make the connection between like Bob disappearing and owls reappearing and like flying around. Because before that, we only saw stationary owls.
Yeah.
And then once Bob's gone, he's like, time to fly.
Let's show some owls. Yeah. So I think it's fascinating. Like, this is assuming that she's not from Earth. This is like this otherworldly person, right? Because something about her eyes.
Oh yeah, that woman. Okay,
right? Cool. Yeah. So in the credits, I think it says NATO.
NATO.
N-A-I-D-O. NATO. Like
NATO.
She's NATO.
Isn't that like a NATO agreement? What am I thinking of?
NATO? Yeah.
Yeah, what is that?
That's like the national. I can't remember.
I don't know.
Stands. Well, I'm not going to cut this out because it's like the agreement with Europe to
that's right.
The U.S.
Yes.
to like
the U.S. is
we're going to make sure that
it's going to be the military.
Yeah.
Cool.
NATO. Yeah. So and we also talked about how it's very sweet that Andy, when he comes out holding her, he says we have to keep her. Yeah, we have to keep her safe. We have to do these things.
Yeah.
He's very distinct on what needs to be done.
He knows. I don't understand how. He doesn't say anything.
I think that I don't think that the lodge disorients him.
No, I mean it's probably just like walking around.
I think that he's the right kind of mindset.
Yeah.
To work he and Lucy could probably. Oh wait,
they were in the lodge. I'm pretty sure they were.
They said that the clock stopped working and they
got lost
like forever, right?
Yeah, like no time.
That time had stopped.
Time lost.
Yeah, so I think that they've already been there.
I think so, and maybe for a while.
Yeah, and they're pretty well adjusted.
Yeah,
they're used to it.
They're good. No need to worry. They don't have to think about it too much.
And maybe when they're going back and forth between the beige chair and the red chair, beige representing the White Lodge, the red representing the waiting room / Black Lodge, that ultimately it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because doesn't matter which one.
They're both kind of beige and both kind of red. Like they have red checks on them, and then they got the beige checks. So it doesn't. I don't know. I like the chair.
There's more to talk about these. We're unpacking a lot of these episodes
to talk about.
Oh my gosh, an hour and 2 minutes.
I know. We're gonna keep going. There's stuff we
might break this up into two. Let's see. Gordon Cole tells us and Albert about the dream that he has.
Oh yes.
I think she's an actress.
Yeah.
Monica Bellucci.
Belinsky?
No, Bellucci.
Bellucci.
Yeah.
Got it.
And so what did you get out of that?
I don't know. I liked it. It felt like dreams I've had. Honestly, it was weird that it was the next day after I had my pie eating dream.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's interesting.
Oh, yeah, another Twin Peaks dream. Yeah, so we're getting this recurring message about we're living in a dream.
Yeah.
But then this question is asked. By the way, I will be disappointed. I'm not a fan of stories where it's like the wake up is like, that was a weird dream.
That was a dream.
Not happy with that. So I hope that's not the ultimate
goal
for the Twin Peaks
universe. I wouldn't be sad. I wouldn't be as sad if it's like, it's not a dream, but it's like a story on top of a story. Like the guy was saying, like, do I have to end your story too?
Like Never-Ending Story? Where there's stories you can pop
that's
into?
That's kind of weird. No.
Bastion!
No, more like these characters are involved in something bigger. Like there's more than just Laura. It's also like this is a story of humanity, and we need to figure this story out so it kind of plays out itself.
Yeah.
And then the FBI's like, neat, now we know how that works. Get on it.
Yeah. There's a lot of different types of irony.
Yeah.
There's one called romantic irony. Romantic irony, if I remember correctly. That is when the characters or the narrator sort of admit to the reader that there's a story taking place.
Yeah. That was my existential dread
with Charlie.
Do I have to end your story too? Like that's absolutely not. I was going to contact the police.
So a lot of people don't like romantic irony because we want, when we're watching stories or reading stories, we want to
feel like we're there.
Yeah, it's the same thing about canon. We want this needs to be real to us, even though it's fictional. And so if a character says, "Hey, you enjoying the movie you're watching?" You're like, whoa. Don't break the fourth wall
and tell us Lion King 1.5, in which case continue, please.
Or Ferris Bueller, I will also accept that. But anybody else, it's like no, I want you to be performing in the story or in the film, and I want to be able to believe in you. And so if you use romantic irony, you're going to take us out of that. Yeah. Right, Lizzie? Right? You know how it is.
Yeah, how it is. Dude, wow. All right.
Thank you for being a dog.
Hey, dog. Lay down or get out. Go. Stay or go.
Yeah, right. But Gordon talks about Cooper's there, but he doesn't see his face.
Yeah, he's like this.
And
it's like that.
Who is the dreamer? Is kind of the big question. Who is the dreamer?
I do like that.
So is the dreamer Charlie?
It's kind of asking like who's the main character. It's not like actually, I kind of feel different now that I said that out loud.
Okay.
I feel like it's asking us as the audience, who's going to get their way? Are we going to get our way in the story? Same as like the lady honking.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we're all dreamers.
Mm-hmm.
But who is this dream? Whose dream is this?
Yeah.
And so like at the end of the day, are we going to have our wants and needs fulfilled by this story that we're watching?
Yeah.
And so it's like, whose dream's going to come true in that sense?
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So I kind of feel like it's aimed at us in like a distant way. Mm-hmm. Like what's going to turn out.
It's interesting when we think of dreams, we think of them as imaginary experiences of our subconscious. Mm-hmm. And they feel real at the time.
Yes.
Then you wake up and you're like, wow, why was I so scared of, that giant hamster? Although now that I've said that, that's pretty scary.
Have you seen
a big, like a giant hamster ball that's rolling at you like a Indiana Jones.
Have you seen them yawn?
Oh,
they're like bunnies.
Scary. So touche, I guess. But if
it's like a lame guy and he's chasing after you, and you're like, "Oh God, he's gonna get me!" and then you wake up and you're like, "That was like a regular guy."
But anyway, so with this kind of these dream experiences.
Yeah.
You wake up and the answer is I was the dreamer.
Right.
One person, me. But it's interesting to think of, bless you.
Thank you.
It's interesting to think of some like a dream where there's more than one dreamer.
Like Inception.
I guess kind of like Inception. Yeah. So where
you're like, when you joined?
Because Mark Frost and David Lynch are collaborating.
Yeah.
So as they're making,
who's the dreamer?
So as they're making this, like, who's the dreamer?
Yeah.
We have the unfair tendency, at least I know I do, when we're talking about like, whoa, David Lynch.
Yeah.
Because that's the name that comes to our mind.
Well, he's also the director.
That is true. But Mark Frost is one of the writers. He's the co-creator of the show.
Yeah.
And you could even say that, hey, some of the actors.
Yeah.
Right.
Are also
Frank Silva's presence.
Yeah.
The set decorator. Turned into Bob.
Cow.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
which is very dreamlike.
There's this collective kind of dream making.
Yeah.
That's going on.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Freddy. He's the guy with the glove.
He's the guy with the glove. I love that. There's so much more to explore there.
Tell us what your impressions are and what you think's going to happen.
So our man with the glove, our man with the left-handed glove. Fantastic. I love the left-handed.
Great.
He puts on the glove when he steals it. Well, he doesn't steal it from the store, but he runs away. I mean, I think he kills the man.
I don't think he punches him.
He says, I heard a crack and he fell and I just ran. And then I got a ticket to here, to Twin Peaks. I'm like,
I hope he didn't kill him. I imagine that he like knocked the guy out and was just surprised how hard that he...
I actually think that guy was sent by the Black Lodge the same way he was sent by the firemen.
You think that...
The guy that was running after him, I think he was put like in some way affected by the Black Lodge.
Okay, that's interesting. Because he goes, like, part of his story, a large part of his story is him talking about trying to buy this glove.
Yeah.
From Mr.
Like, absolutely not.
From the Jobsworth.
Yeah.
Right? And so...
right?
Oh, he's a Jobsworth.
He's a Jobsworth. I love how he's, British, and I don't know how to even deal with that in this story. I'm like, what is he?
Richard Tremaine felt British in some ways, right?
Yeah.
Right? Dick Tremaine? Right?
Yeah, he did. He did.
Yeah. So
he had a little British accent. I always asked, I was like, why does his sister not have an accent and he has an accent? He's from here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
so so we see Freddy. So Freddy tells us his story.
Yeah.
And it is interesting that the person is saying like, no, you can't buy that. It's like refusing to sell him the single glove. Yeah. Go and buy another
that
glove.
He jumps over the counter and starts running.
Yeah. So you think that was an obstacle placed by the Black Lodge? Yes.
In some sense.
In some sense. The last thing I have on here is that Sad Boy James. Oh, shoot. Is it fair to call him Sad Boy James? Is he still a sad boy? I
think he's still a sad boy.
Still a sad boy?
I would still consider him a sad boy.
Okay.
I think he is the saddest boy of the cast, currently still.
He's sadder than Ed?
I think so. Because I don't think of Ed as a boy.
Okay.
And I also think Ed's angry.
Is he angry at himself?
It seemed like he was angry at Nadine and himself.
Oh, okay. So there's some bitterness.
Yeah.
So
it's bitter boy Ed.
So bitter man.
Bitterman Ed. Bitterman. Anyways, Bitterman
and
Ed.
Sad Boy James. Sad. So he goes into kind of like to check on the furnace, and we see
and he just,
the machinery and things like that.
Yeah, and I thought there was something that was going to happen, and then Mom was like, is something going to happen? I was like, no.
Yeah.
As soon as somebody asks, is something going to happen?
And how did this episode end? Was there another conversation at the bar?
Yeah, there was.
That's right. And they're talking about Billy, who Audrey mentions.
Who's Audrey's trying to find.
So there is a connection. Between, at least with character names, and it seems like Billy is the messed up guy in the drunk tank.
Yeah.
Where Nido and the crooked cop are.
Yeah.
And so that is a little piece of evidence that whatever Audrey is talking about,
it's not good. Things are happening for her.
Well, I'm fascinated by the lady with the rash, and now this guy with whatever's on his face and drooling,
and that child,
the girl throwing up. There's this sickness.
Yeah.
That's within this town.
The woman that changed her life and is now back in contact with her son.
Yeah.
She also had like a wart, I feel like.
Oh, she did?
There was like something going on with her face, like makeup wise.
And now she's better.
And now she looked good.
Okay. Are you predicting that Dale Cooper is going to arrive in Twin Peaks by the end of this season, or do you think that's not going to happen?
I think it is going to happen, but I don't know that it's going to happen in a satisfying way.
Okay, so you think in some ways it will happen.
In some ways you'll be like, it's not Dale Cooper, it's friggin' Slow Doug.
So do you think he will stay Slow Doug the whole season?
I kind of feel like, for the most part,
because we only have 4 episodes left.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I think like if he does, then for some reason I feel like he's going to become fast Dale Cooper and then go back to being slow Dale Cooper. Like he actually, I feel like Dale Cooper kind of enjoys being slow.
They might decide like this is who I am now.
Working.
Well, it is interesting. We are waiting for him to snap back.
Yeah.
But the arm was called, looks very different.
Yeah.
Than the dwarf character or the persona.
Yeah.
And the arm is called like the evolution.
Yeah.
And so I've been thinking until we're talking right now that I'm thinking of Dale Cooper as being stuck. Because Major Briggs used the word hibernation, right? So I'm thinking like you're just stuck.
And this could be to wake up.
That's true. Mike is saying wake up.
Like, wake up, dude.
Yeah.
Don't die.
So this could be like an evolution of his character. Yeah. Like this is what I've evolved into.
Yeah, I
don't know. Yeah. Okay, so we'll wait and see.
All right.
So let's do our scratchers. You got a surface.
I got my phone. Okay, I'm gonna do the bonus box first.
Cherries. That's not what I wanted to. Oh, but cherry pie.
Cherry pie.
The winning numbers. We're going to see if these numbers have anything to do with what we watch today.
Holy shit.
What do you got?
2 9s.
2 9s. How many do you need?
I need 3 in a row. Or in a column.
My numbers are 13, 27, 23. Uncover a Pac-Man symbol and automatically win that prize. I want a ticket, everybody.
Oh, I could have won 999, but I did not.
That would be sweet. All right.
Nice.
I want a ticket.
Yeah.
I will go get a new ticket.
And then we'll do it next time.
Because it's still part of the thing, right?
Yeah, that's true.
This is just...
That's just next.
This is the first step.
Ticket.
This is just the first step
on
our Dougie Jones train to success.
Absolutely.
All right.
See you next time.
And it might not. The success might not happen. With another ticket. It might happen while I'm going to get the new ticket.
Yeah, that's true.
Can't wait to find out what happens.
Absolutely.
And I can't wait to find out what happens on Twin Peaks
for the first time.
Yes. Yeah. See you later, everybody.
See ya.